Okay, guys, please confirm, guys, whether I'm audible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I don't know from when I was not audible. At least can somebody tell me? Because when I started the class, I got a call from HOD. I said that I'm receiving the call. I'm going to answer the call. So I was not audible from the beginning of the class, guys. From starting. Okay, fine. Thank you, thank you. So from where to start now? Oh, yeah. So I have to start from yes, yeah. From the beginning. Okay, no issues. Okay. 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 So precision full wave rectifier is implemented using off wave rectifier, precision off wave rectifier, and the summing amplifier. So precision input for the summing amplifier is point VA, the voltage at VA and VB. Okay. So the output voltage is obtained by adding these two voltages, that is VA and VB. Okay. So it gives a
Your
precision.
screen is not shared, sir.
Oh, correct. Sorry, sorry. Because I was in. Okay, sorry. I'm sharing. I'm sharing the screen now. Okay. ಈಗ okay ಅಲ್ವಾ? So this now it is being shared. Okay, fine. Yes. So okay. So the sum of these two voltages, that is point B and VB. So what was my discussion? What I was discussing was that for this equation to obtain the output voltage, only either R4 or R5 is considered. Of course, with the assumption that both the resistors are equal, R5 is equal to R4. Okay. So thereby, why it is either R4 or R5, that's what I was actually explaining. If these two are separate sources, that is VA and VB are the separate sources. VA is coming from the input voltage, VB is the output of the precision of a rectifier. So thereby, if there was a connection like this, let us say there was a short like this, then input has to be considered as a equivalent resistance. We have to take equivalent resistance of R4 and R5. But in this case, since VA and VB, there are separate sources, especially with this op amp in picture, this advantage. This op amp will isolate this VB from this input voltage. This gives a good isolation because of the infinite input impedance and very low output impedance. Okay, impedance matching is very good in case of an op amp. So V and VB acts as a separate independent sources. They are not actually independent because the ground is common for all the both the sources, but still to a larger extent they are independent. So at any point in time, considering the current flowing through a feedback resistor and the input resistor R4 and R5, we can consider this as a independent resistance, and hence when we take the gain of this amplifier, we'll take it as feedback resistance R6, of course minus R6 divided by either R4 or R5. R4 or R5, not both. Okay, so there is a simple reason why only one resistor is considered. That is somewhere here. So output summing amplifier with the assumption that R5 is equal to R4, and during the positive half cycle. So during the positive half cycle, we can observe that output voltage is that is point VB is minus 2 VI during the positive half cycle, and the voltage at VB is minus 2 VI. Okay, so considering this potential, output voltage is obtained for a positive off cycle as minus R6 by R4. Okay, VA plus VB. So what is VB? VA is nothing but input voltage, same as the input voltage. VB happens to be minus 2 VI. Okay, so next when you simplify, we get it as R6 by R4 into VI. Very simple. That's quite straightforward. During negative cycle, what happens is that during the negative cycle, VB becomes 0. VB becomes equal to 0. And hence, V naught is nothing but R6 by R4. And output at VA is negative cycle, because it's anyway it's a negative cycle. It is equal to input voltage, negative cycle. Output voltage is given as R6 by R4 plus into VI. If you consider the output voltage for both the positive cycle as well as negative cycle, what we get is a both the positive cycle, which is equal to which is this V naught, which is equal to R6 by R4 into VI. into VA, sorry, into VI. So based on the R6 and R4, we can get the output voltage. Especially for, let's say, if R6 is equal to R4, then we can achieve V0 is equal to VI. So this is possible. V0 is equal to VI. That's possible. Okay. So that's how we achieve precision full wave rectification using half-wave rectifier and the summing amplifier. Okay, a precision full wave rectifier is also known as a absolute value circuit. Of course, obviously, because irrespective of whether the input is positive or negative, output is always a positive, and hence it's a absolute value circuit. So circuit output is the absolute value of the input peak voltage regardless of the input polarity. That's fine. This is something a mathematical function, absolute value function. Design, this for this design, with 2 volt output waveform and peak to peak voltage of 0.5 volts and frequency of 1 megahertz and supply voltage of plus or minus 15 volts. Okay. So input waveform is 0.5 volts and the output voltage is 2 volts. That means there is a amplification. The input voltage is 5.5 volts, output voltage is 2 volts. There needs to be amplification as well as rectification. Okay. Yes, with the same assumption, this we have discussed many times. Input current should be much larger than the AB max, especially whenever there is a diode. We have to go for a larger current. Why larger current? We discussed in the last class. If in the absence of current, we can we can manage with 50 microamperes. That will be sufficient. But with the diode in picture, a diode part of the circuit, then larger current is a must. So to forward bias the diode, smaller current may not forward bias a diode. Okay. R1, the input resistance R1. Yes, the first design is same as that of the half-wave rectifier design that we have seen in the earlier worked example problem. Okay, so first design of the half-wave rectifier, then comes the design of the full-wave rectifier. So R1, of course, this we have discussed, guys. VI by I1, input voltage applied across R1 divided by I1. So it's 1 kilo ohm, which happens to be a standard value. R2 is equal to 2 times R1, which is equal to 2 kilo ohm. Why 2 times R1? If you see this, the precision of a rectifier, R2 is always kept as equal to 2 times R1. Okay, so that the gain of the op amp is little larger. Output voltage is twice the input voltage. Until and unless it is attenuation. For example, what is attenuation, guys? When we want output voltage to be less than the input voltage, then we have to go for R2 less than R1. It is attenuation factor. If you remember, this signal generator, there is attenuation factor. Okay, there this used as a potentiometer. When you vary this, when you make it R2 less than R1, then there is attenuation. Output voltage is less than the input voltage. Okay. Otherwise, in most of the cases, we want a gain amplification, which is achieved by with the R2 keeping greater than R1. So 2 kilo ohms. So we can use 1 kilo ohm resistor in series because 2 kilo ohm is not a standard value. What should be R3? As we discussed last class, parallel combination of R1 and R2, 670 ohms. Standard closest standard value is 680 ohms. Okay, yeah. So R4, R5, this we discussed, for a summing amplifier, R4 should be equal to R5, which is equal to R1. Why it is equal to R1? If you see this diagram, basically, okay. Quick jump back to, yeah. R4 and R5 are the input resistance. R1 is also input resistance. The same voltage applied to R1 is also applied to R4. Okay, and VB is at one point it is equal to 0, but in another point, that is when the input cycle is positive, it is equal to minus 2 Vi. Okay, and we have to make sure that output voltage is 2 volts when the input voltage being 0.5 volts. 0.5 volts. We want an amplification, and hence R1 is kept as equal to that of sorry, not R1. R4 and R5 is kept as equal to that of R1 input resistance, because the role of R4, R5 and R1 is being the is a input resistance. So equal resistance is maintained until and unless we want a larger gain or variation. Accordingly, we can adjust the value of R4 and R5 equal to 1 kilo ohm resistance, which happens to be a standard value. For 2-volt output and for input of 0.5 volts, okay, we have to find out the value of R6. Output voltage is 2 volts, input voltage is 0.5 volts. R5 is equal to R4, which is equal to R1, which is equal to 1 kilo ohm. Okay, so this is 4 kilo ohm, R6 4 kilo ohm. So standard closest to standard value is 3.9 kilo ohms. What about R7 is? R7, if you observe this R7, what is R7 is? R7 is the series resistance connected to non-inverting input terminal of a summing amplifier. What is the purpose of this R7 is? The same reason that the current flowing into the non-inverting input terminal, if you call it as IB2, should be equal to the current flowing into the inverting input terminal. To equalize the current, okay, there is IB1 is equal to IB2. This resistance R7 should be equal to equivalent resistance at the inverting input terminal. That's the basic intention of R7. What is the other reason is? To provide path for the DC current to flow. Okay, see, if there is no resistance, what will happen is, and this we have discussed many times, if there is no resistance, there may not be any flow of the DC current, biasing it. Of course, first of all, we are not giving any voltage here, it is a 0 volt, but there should be path for the current to flow. So then better to make use of a resistance which provides a path for the current to flow. Okay, so and then R7 is a parallel combination of R4, R5. Here for R7, R4 and R5 comes into picture. Why? Because at point BA, there are 3 resistors. If you consider only point BA, earlier discussion was with respect to source. With respect to source, we assumed that the current flows like this, the current flow like this. So this VA and VB is the independent sources. But when you consider point this, this junction, there is the junction where 3 resistance meet. It is nothing but the parallel connection of 3 resistances. Okay, so thereby the R7 should be equal to effective parallel combination of R4, R5 and R6, which is equal to 443 ohms. Standard value is 470. Nearest standard value is 470 ohms. So for diodes D1 and D2, same condition. It should be larger than 30 volts because supply voltage is plus or minus 15 volts. So some effective voltage is 30 volts. So reverse voltage should be 30 volts. PR max should be 0.1 microsecond. This is the standard case, for most of the practical applications, involving op-amp with the diode. So this is the minimum requirement. So A1 should be compensated as a voltage follower, which we are not discussing, as I explained in the last class. So compensation part we are not going into. Okay. So input impedance full wave precision rectifier. Okay, guys, this one just hold on a second, because is it specified in the syllabus? That thing that I discussed with Prem Kumar sir. Just a second. That's, of course, it's an important topic because to improve the input impedance of the precision rectifier, we have to go for a high input impedance precision rectifiers. Okay, it's not specified here. Okay, let's discuss. Okay, it's not specified. Okay, so high input impedance precision full wave rectifier. Okay, yeah. Yes, I'll straight away go to the circuit diagram. Simple and straightforward. Okay, so it's a high input impedance full wave precision rectifier. The purpose of this high input impedance circuit is to improve the overall input impedance of a operational amplifier. Okay, so the purpose being that the load will not have any effect on the source. Okay, that's whatever the load connected to the this precision rectifier will not have any loading effect on the source, not source, I'm sorry, to the on the circuit, on this entire circuit, as well as this source will be isolated from the load. This source will be isolated from the load. Okay, so for that the input impedance Zin should be very large. Zin should be very large. Okay, larger the input impedance, we can achieve better isolation of load from the source, as well as minimum loading effect of source on the circuit as well as load on the circuit. Okay, so that's the basic intention. And moreover, what may be the one of the reason is, if the Zin is very large, the current drawn by the circuit will be very small. It's going to be in terms of microamperes, and hence the loading effect on the source is also minimized. Loading effect of circuit on the source is also minimized, because say it's ultimately it is a resistor and capacitive network, and this the source is also another circuit, so there will be loading effect. So to prevent that loading effect, better to have a larger input impedance. Okay, ideally it should be infinity, but practically we don't have it's not it is difficult to achieve, because of the practical consideration. Okay, so input impedance to the signal as shown in figure. Okay, rectifier that uses a non-inverting amplifier configuration. Okay, so A1 together with R3 and R4 constitutes a non-inverting amplifier. Let us we'll discuss straight away with the I'm just going through in case of any point. Mm, okay, here actually voltage of a consumed. Okay, fine. Here we go. Yes. So let us look into the circuit operation. Is totally we have two operation amplifier represented as A1 and A2. This A2 part, yes, I'm sorry, I got one more call. No? Two more days. Yes, sorry. Okay, yes, here we go. Okay. Yes. So two operational amplifier A1 and A2. Yes, if you observe this A2, it's nothing but a precision of a rectifier. Very simple. Okay, precision of a rectifier where the it will provide rectification. There is, if you observe this second bottom part of this circuit diagram, there is A2. Input voltage is applied. It is a non-inverting amplifier. So for a positive cycle, output of this op amp will be positive. Okay, the diode E1 is reverse biased. Point VB becomes equal to 0. Very simple. Okay, that means point VB will be at the ground potential. So what will happen for a negative cycle? For a negative cycle, output of this op amp will be negative. When output of this op amp is negative, diode D1 is forward biased and diode D2 will be reverse biased. Okay, and the feedback path, basically at this point we have to observe, when the output is negative, diode D1 is forward biased, the feedback path is through point VB. Okay, in this, if you observe the bottom part, it's nothing but a op amp A2 is nothing but a non-inverting amplifier. For a non-inverting amplifier, the feedback resistance is R5, and the input resistance is of course R1, of course, but the feedback part is obtained by combination of R5 and R6. Okay, so what is the gain of this amplifier? The gain of this amplifier A2 will be equal to R5 divided by no, not R5, I'm sorry, yes, it's actually R5, 1 plus R5 divided by R6, 1 plus R5 divided by R6. Very simple. Okay, so thereby when during the negative cycle of the input waveform, negative cycle, output of this op amp is negative, D1 is forward bias, the feedback path is through R5 and R6. Okay, it acts as a non-inverting amplifier, and we know that non-inverting amplifier gain is always greater than the gain of the inverting amplifier. It's always the case, this is the non-inverting amplifier and this is the inverting amplifier. Okay. So when during the negative cycle, VB voltage at point B exists. Okay. What about at point C? Let us observe the other 2 points, that is point A and point C. For point A, if you observe, there is op amp A1, input voltage positive cycle, output of this. By the way, what is this op amp A1 is? What is the configuration of op amp A1? If you observe op amp A1, this circuit is another non-inverting amplifier. Why? Because assume that this point B, assume that this point B is at a ground potential, for example. Okay, that means this is at a ground potential. This is nothing but is another non-inverting amplifier where this point B acts as a ground point. Acts as a ground point means when potential at VB is equal to 0, op amp A1 acts as a non-inverting amplifier. Very simple. But if there exists a potential at point B, that means there are two potentials applied to operational amplifier A1, which is input voltage Vi applied at the R1. Another is Vb applied at the junction of R4, at this junction of R4. Okay. So what should be the voltage at Va guys? It's very simple. The input voltage is, for example, it is a positive cycle, and output according to the non-inverting configuration, output should be positive. That means this end is positive, this end is positive voltage, and this end depending on the potential at Vb. If it is 0, then this voltage, output voltage will be divided across this R3 and R4. Okay. So based on that, we get a potential at point A. Based on it's a voltage divider network. Okay, so it's nothing but a simple voltage divider network. So where one end is 0, so this is R4 and this is R3. This end is V0. This point is V0. V0. Obviously, at this point there will be a voltage that is represented as VA. Very simple, because it is a potential divider network. That is the case for the point A, voltage at point A. What about point C, potential at point C? Positive cycle of the input voltage, op amp A2, output of the op amp A2 is positive, VB becomes equal to 0. If VB is 0, if you observe this network, this R5 and R6 series combination, if VB is 0, obviously this point C will be equal to 0. There is no voltage, how can there exist a potential point C? So VC is also equal to 0. But during the negative off cycle of the input voltage, the output of this op amp A2 is negative, and then output at this point, VB. This point VB, that's when the output of this op amp is negative, point VB is negative. Then at point C also there exists a voltage which is negative, which happens to be negative. Okay, so we have, I guess it's something like this, two non-inverting amplifiers. So this is one non-inverting amplifier and this is another non-inverting amplifier. Output of one non-inverting amplifier is given as a input to another non-inverting amplifier. Okay. So the intention here is to improve the impedance. How does it work? We'll understand. Okay. So the input voltage for both the op amp is common. That is for both the op amp A1 as well as A2, it is common. Okay. So let us look into this. Let us observe the waveform. Okay. Input voltage is a sinusoidal waveform. Output voltage, of course, it's a full wave rectified output. Okay, fine. How do we get this voltage? Okay, so let us understand this. Point VA, at potential point VA. Okay, what is the voltage? Input positive cycle. I think better I write a bigger waveform so that we can visualize the voltage. Let us say this is the input voltage. Okay, during positive cycle, what is the potential at this point is? It is positive. Okay. What is the potential at point VB? Okay. Because the output of this op amp A2 is negative. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. Output of this op amp A2 is positive. Diode D1 is reverse biased. VB becomes equal to 0. When VB becomes equal to 0, if you observe this network R3 and R4, at R3, since it is a positive voltage, at VA, it should be a positive voltage. That's what we have understood now. Okay, obviously, because it's a voltage divider network. If this potential is positive, then obviously this potential will also be equal to is a positive quantity. Amplitude we'll see. Amplitude based on the gain factor, that we'll see later. At least polarity wise it is positive. Okay, so that is for the positive cycle at point VA. Okay, that means during the positive cycle of the input voltage, VA is also positive. Very simple. Okay, during the negative cycle of the input voltage, what happens is that this point becomes negative because it is a non-inverting amplifier. This point becomes negative. What about VB? At point VB, negative cycle. At, okay, at point VB. Okay, at point VB, what happens is that the okay. Let's hold on a second. We have to consider the resistance also. Okay, fine. Okay, 1.8 kilohms. Just a second. I'm looking into the value of the resistance. This gives a gain of 2. That's fine. Okay, just a second. Just a second. The for a point, because it should be minus 2 vi. Minus 2 vi. That is from the gain of the amplifier. But I'll check it. Just a few seconds. A2 positive is for best. Okay, that's fine. I think I missed one point here. R3 and voltage of plus R3. R3 is okay. That's fine. So this is just a second. Just a second. That is R3 is okay. That's R3 is fine. R3 is fine. I got the R3 point. Okay, this is what I was looking for. There is a details given is forward biased, giving output to junction of okay. R5 equals to R6. The voltage, yes, obviously, correct. Oh, sorry, I forgot the fact that it is a non-inverting amplifier. Correct. Okay, yes, now I got it. Okay, yes. Now, so during we were discussing during the negative half cycle, we were discussing for point VA. During negative cycle, this point, I think I need to move a little up. Okay, this should be okay. Yes. Now, during the negative half cycle of the input voltage, negative half cycle of the input voltage, this is a negative. That's fine because it's a non-inverting amplifier. What happens at output of the op amp A2? Again, it is negative. When it is negative, diode D1 is forward biased. When diode D1 is forward biased, as we discussed in the beginning, the path for the feedback is through diode D1, R5 and R6. There is a series combination of R5 and R6, and the voltage across R6 is applied as an input to the inverting input terminal. Okay, that means the gain of A2 is given as 1 plus R5 divided by R6. Yes, correct. It's a non-inverting amplifier. If you observe the value of R5 and R6, R5 is taken to be equal to R6. In that case, it is equal to 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. That means at point VB, the voltage is twice the input voltage. Voltage is twice the input voltage. What is the input cycle now? Negative. That means it is minus 2 Vi. Okay. That means when the input cycle is negative, at point VB, the voltage is negative. The voltage is negative. Okay, fine. We didn't discuss for positive cycle at point VB. Okay, because observe this. When the input cycle is positive, output of the op amp A2 is positive, diode D1 is reverse biased. Okay, but at that point, that is during the positive cycle of the input voltage, VA is positive. Yes, okay. According to this combination, according to this condition, as I discussed in the beginning, this point should be equal to 0. This point should be equal to 0. But what will happen is, if you consider this op amp A1, which is again a non-inverting amplifier, okay, and again op amp A2 is also non-inverting amplifier, but if you consider this part, please only observe this part of this network. This is very important. Okay, that is, I'll rewrite here R3, R4, R5, R6, and the ground. This point is VA. This point is VB. This point is VC. This point is VC. Okay. So what should happen here is this point during the positive cycle of the input voltage. During the positive cycle of the input voltage, VA is positive. That's fine. We got that that point. VA is positive. this point is a positive potential. Okay, this is R3, or I think, oh yeah, R4, R5 and R6. Okay, VB, what happens is that is zero, is actually zero. Why? Because diode D1 is reverse biased, it is isolated. But yes, this is very important. If diode is reverse biased, it will isolate point VB with respect to output of the op amp, but point B is still part of this series network. Point B is still part of the series network. That is this network. Okay, what we can see on the right hand side, in the written in green letter. Okay, green color. So this positive, now it acts as a series resistance, series combination of R3, R4, R5 and R6. Okay, that means this potential will appear across VA, VB and VC. Okay, so thereby what should happen is, since this is positive, what should be VA is equal to, it's a positive voltage, it's a voltage divider network, it's a positive voltage. Whatever VB, it should be positive. Why? Because now point VB is isolated from the output of the op amp, and hence at potential B the voltage is due to the output of the entire circuit. What is the output of the entire circuit case? It is V0. This is written very small, it is very difficult to identify, notice this V0. Okay, this V0 will appear across this series network. This V0 will appear across this series network, and hence at point VB is also a positive voltage, at point C is also a positive voltage. Okay, so thereby if you observe this positive cycle, during positive cycle of the input voltage, VA is positive, obviously VB should also be positive according to what we understood now in discussion. VC is also positive, very simple. Okay, now okay, and now what about during the negative cycle? During the negative cycle, of course, VA is negative, obviously it is a non-inverting amplifier, it becomes a negative. And just now we have understood that for a VB, it is a non-inverting amplifier whose gain is given by R5 and R6. That means it is twice that of the input voltage minus 2 Vi, and hence during the negative off cycle, of the input voltage, VB is equal to minus 2 Vi. That is because of the gain of the non-inverting amplifier represented by A2. Okay, now what about VC now? Okay, observe this. Okay, this VC is important. VC is quite interesting also. Okay, this is negative. Point VA is negative. Point VB is minus 2 Vi. It is equal to minus 2 Vi. Minus 2 Vi. Okay, and then what about at point C? This minus 2 Vi will appear across R5 and R6, and hence since it's a negative potential with respect to only R5 and R6, if you compare, with respect to only this R5 and R6, which is VB is equal to minus 2 Vi, and hence equal voltage, since R5 is equal to R6, equal voltage will appear across R5 and R6, and hence voltage across R6 is equal to minus Vi. That is half of this voltage, minus 2 Vi divided by Vi, which is equal to Vi. Very simple. Okay, so thereby during the negative cycle of the input voltage, okay, Va is negative, Vb is twice the input voltage inverted version, 180-degree phase shift, and not 180 degree, input is again in negative anyway, twice the input voltage. Very simple. Okay, Vc is also negative. But when you consider the effective voltage, okay, consider only the negative cycle. What is the effective voltage? Is that yes, what is this potential, guys? This is minus Vi, okay, and this is minus 2 Vi, and this is minus Vi. Okay, output voltage will appear at the output of this op amp A1. The effective voltage will be equal to effective voltage at the point Va, Vb and Vc. Okay, and observe this. Okay, during negative cycle, all this is happening during the negative cycle. Okay, during the negative cycle, this potential is also negative. This potential is also, that means this point is negative, this point is negative. Okay, this potential should be such that the effective voltage at this network is taken when we consider the effective voltage of these three voltages and the potential at this point, it happens to be equal to minus Vi. I'm sorry, again I made a mistake. Not minus VI. When we take the effective voltage at this point, it will be equal to plus VI. Okay, and hence during the negative off cycle of the input voltage, output effective potential at this point, that means what is this point is this point with respect to ground. This point with respect to ground is equal to plus VI, and hence at the output we get a positive off cycle for both the off cycles of the input voltage. Okay, and hence we get back the fully rectified output voltage. It's okay. So that's the operation of the um, you know the circuit. So that's okay. So here the explanation is given with respect to the each input. That is when the positive cycle is applied, what is the voltage. Okay, that is, for example, if the voltage terminal B is 0, terminal B is 0 because when during the positive cycle, so minus V is applied to R1. Okay, so thereby if you consider this the with respect to two potentials. Okay, the circuit is analyzed with respect to two potentials represented as Vx and Vy for both the conditions, that is for both the off cycles. Effective voltage is taken. Okay, observe this. Okay, this is fine. So another approach to note even with, okay, voltage applied bottom of R4 non-inverting amplifier. Okay, with the voltage at terminal B is 0 when during the negative off cycle minus Vi is applied to R1, the circuit output will be given as, that is, Vx is equal to minus, okay, with respect to this output voltage. Okay, that means this is the point. Okay, voltage Vx is obtained corresponding to the point when Vb is equal to 0. Because when the Vb goes to 0, when B is isolated from the output of the op amp A2, that is when the diode D1 is reverse biased. Okay, so if we consider this condition, this point is effectively grounded. There is 0 volts. The feedback resistance is R3 and R4. Okay, so during that point, the input voltage is negative. Okay, and then when we consider the output voltage with respect to the potential at point VB, that is which is equal to 0, which is equal to 0 volts, we can write the expression output voltage is equal to Vx at that point when VB is equal to 0, can be written as is equal to Vx is equal to minus Vi into R3 plus R4 divided by R4. Why? Because it is the gain of the non-inverting amplifier. Very simple. Okay, now this is one condition. There is one part of the output voltage. Okay, when we simplify this, R3 is equal to R4. When with that assumption, we end up in there is minus 3 Vi. Okay, 1 plus 1, it is becomes 3, minus 3 Vi. That's fine. Okay, Vx is minus 3 Vi. What about Vy? That is what is Vy is output voltage, as I explained. It is a part of sum of Vx plus Vy. Vx is when Vb is equal to 0. Vy is when Vb is equal to minus 2 Vi. Vb is equal to minus 2 Vi. That means according to this waveform, and with respect to Vb, output voltage obtained when Vx, that's one off part of the output voltage is Vx, another off part of the output voltage is Vy. Okay, Vy, Vx is obtained when Vb is equal to 0. Vy is obtained when Vb is equal to minus 2 Vi. Okay, so accordingly, when we write the expression for Vy, there's 2 more minutes with this I'll wind up. When we write the expression for Vy, minus 2 Vy into, okay, let's observe this. Okay, this is interesting because when Vb is minus 2 Vi with respect to op amp A1, because output voltage is obtained at the output of the op amp A1, not at the output of the op amp A2. So this output of the op amp A2 will not come into picture. Okay, so for this op amp A1, this potential is minus 2 Vi. Okay, what about this potential? Vi minus Vi. Okay, when these two voltages are considered, it is as good as applying voltage to the inverting input terminal. That means during negative cycle of the input voltage, op amp A1 acts as a inverting amplifier, and during the positive off cycle of the input voltage, op-amp A1 acts as a non-inverting amplifier. Why? Because during the positive cycle, VB will be equal to 0. VB will be equal to 0. That means it's a non-inverting amplifier. During the negative off cycle, of course, there is two voltages. Minus 2A is applied at point VB, okay, and this point is VI. When we compare to the the amplitudes, the voltage applied at the inverting amplifier is more than the voltage applied at the non-inverting amplifier, and hence A1 acts as a inverting amplifier during the negative cycle, and then we consider the gain with respect to R3 and R4. That means op-amp gain A1, op-amp A1 gain A1 during the negative cycle is minus R3 divided by R4. Minus R3 divided by R4. Very simple. Okay. That is the very tricky part for this circuit, because it acts as both the inverting amplifier as well as a non-inverting amplifier depending on the input condition. Okay, so VY is given by minus 2 VI. Why minus 2 VI? Because input voltage VP is equal to minus 2 VI. Okay, minus R3 by R4. So VY becomes R3 is equal to R4 with assumption R3 is equal to no, sorry, R3 is 2 times R4. This is correct. If you see the value of the R3 and R4, R3 is twice the R4. If you observe this, value of R3 and R4, it is not equal actually. R3 is equal to R3 is 2 times R4. 2 times R4. With this condition, with this situation, R3 is 2 twice R4, so VY becomes equal to 4 VI. Okay. When we add up these two voltages, V0 is equal to Vx plus Vi, which is equal to Vi. Okay. That means during the negative off cycle of the input voltage, output voltage is equal to Vi, positive cycle. Okay, so that means during the positive cycle also output voltage will be equal to is a positive cycle. During the negative cycle also output voltage is a positive cycle. Yes, that's very simple. So and hence the output voltage is a rectified, fully rectified output voltage. So any other point, positive and the input is negative, already explained. The output is a positive and the okay. So the circuit functions as a rectifier. To design the rectifier, R4 and R5. Okay, so assumption is R4, R5, R6, R3 is equal to R4. This we just know is R3 is equal to twice R4. Okay, it's fine. So okay, the numerical problem I'll discuss in the next class. But I input impedance part, I think the author is not discussed in this part of the in this part of the discussion. Okay, because why it is I input impedance, I'll discuss in the next class. Okay, here only the operation of the full rectifier is explained. I input impedance, why it is not discussed at this part of the chapter is that there is a separate topic on I input impedance of an op-amp, which is not part of your course. It is a self study. That's why the author has not repeated the discussion here, which I'll discuss in the next class. With that, I'll discuss this numerical problems worked example. That should be okay. Then we'll jump to this limiting circuits. After that we can go to clamping or peak detectors. I think it may not be in the order. I think it's already late, guys. We are getting late. Peak clampers. Okay, limiting circuit is one is clamping circuits and sample and load circuit. Both is content is given in the same document. Okay, it's fine. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Okay, see you in the next class, guys. Take care. Bye. 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 Yes.